session of biology class. What we have studied in our previous class? Do you remember? Yes, it is the physiology of ear and how we have to take care the health of our ear. Am I right? Wow, mesmerizing fragrance. Where is it from? Oh, this bunch of flowers in front of me. Can you see? How I could sense the smell, which is the organ which help us to perceive the fragrance of this flower? Yes, that is our nose. So children, let's discuss the interesting details of our nose. How we perceive the smell. See children, smell is a very common term. We use the term biologically as olfaction. Olfaction means smell itself. So there are special receptors in our nose, inside our nose, particularly in the nasal cavity, which can receive the odorants. What do you mean by odorants? Odorants are the chemicals which is diffused inside the air. So here you can see the location of the olfactory receptor. So where it is located? Inside the nasal cavity. Olfactory receptors are specialized receptors which can receive the stimulus in the air molecule, that is in the chemicals. Hence they are also known as chemoreceptor. Chemo means chemicals. The receptors which are sensitive to chemicals. So here you can see the location of olfactory receptor, that is in the nasal cavity, which are in close contact with a special structure called olfactory bulb, which contain olfactory nerve, carry the impulse to the brain. The special center in brain where the olfaction is made possible. Olfaction means smell. Olfaction is a chemoreception that through the sensory olfactory system forms the perception of smell. So there is a system which helps to perceive the smell, that is olfactory system. So the smell is known as olfaction. It is a type of chemoreception. Chemo means chemicals. In order to identify the odorants, odorants means the substance which produce a particular odor or smell, is easily identified with the help of a well-defined system, that is known as olfactory system. It helps us to detect the food, hazards, etc. So not only for smelling the very delicious food or fabulous food, in addition to that we are able to sense certain odors which gives certain alarm signals. So for example, if there is a gas leak in your house, suddenly we can identify by smelling, isn't it? Then similarly, when a lizard or a rat die near house premises, there also you can easily identify by the bad odor. So hazards, then some fragrance of flowers, then various deodorants or spray perfumes, all those we can identify with the help of smell. Special receptors which helps in olfaction are olfactory receptor. So the receptors are called olfactory receptors. Now let's see the location of olfactory receptors. Since it is related to nose, we have a defined system inside the nasal cavity. There you can see olfactory nerves, olfactory bulbs, olfactory tract, and of course the olfactory cells. So this is a particular region where the olfactory related components are well arranged, that is in the nasal cavity. Olfactory receptors are also known as odorant receptors. Why? Because they sense the odoriferous substances. It helps in the detection of odorants, that means a compound that have an odor which give rise to the sense of smell. So in this picture you can see the cells receptors related to olfaction. So a bunch of receptors are arranged on the nasal cavity which have a projected part called cilia, and they are in close contact with mucus. And where they are connected? They are connected to the olfactory bulb which contain olfactory nerves which are carried to the impulse to the brain. So here you can see this is the olfactory region in the nasal cavity which has got so many connections with the olfactory bulb which later get connected with the brain. So this is a picture showing the arrangement of olfactory receptors. These receptors have a basal region which have cilia-like projection, small hair-like projection, which are always soaked in mucus. Then these olfactory receptors are got connected with the nerve part, that is known as olfactory nerve. Then in addition to that, you can see certain supporting cells or basal cells. So how we able to identify the smell? This is a simple illustration showing how we identify the smell. Suppose we are smelling a rose, the molecules, odor molecule, that means the chemicals which give particular odor to the substance dissolve in the air and they get into the nasal cavity through inhalation process. As a result, they reach the nasal cavity and there we can see the olfactory receptor. These olfactory receptor bind and this odor molecule cause stimulation of olfactory cell which passes the impulse to the brain through the olfactory nerve. So in this way we experience the perception of olfaction. This is a flowchart showing the various stages of olfaction. Aromatic particles diffuses in air. Aromatic particles means the odorants, the various chemicals. First of all, they diffuse in air. When we inhale, they enter through the nostrils. These particles dissolve in mucus inside the nostril. Later, the olfactory receptors got stimulated. They generate impulses which is carried by olfactory nerve to brain. In this way, with the help of brain and olfactory receptors, we perceive the smell. So, brain has special receptors center to receive the impulse. So, with the help of brain and olfactory receptor, we perceive the smell. So far we have discussed about the physiology of nose and its maintenance. Now let's switch on to the next sense organ, the human tongue. For that I need an assistant. Shall I take and come? This is my magic table we are going to show something for you. Are you ready? Tongue is the strongest muscle in our body, which is made up of skeletal muscles and mucous membrane. Where is our tongue? Yes, it is inside our buccal cavity, that is inside our mouth. Which are the different types of taste that we are experiencing day to day? Let's check out. So children, come on, say which are the different types of taste that we experience day to day? Yes, sweet. See, our magic table has brought a lollipop for you. It's an example for sweetness. Come on, the next one. Yes, salt. The common salt is an example for a salty taste. Wow, the magic table has brought the next one, salt, in front of you. Which is the next taste? Yes, very good. It's sour. An example for sour is, wow, magic table is very quick in action. See, the lemon. All the citrus fruits are sour in taste. Another examples are tamarind, which is also an example for sour taste. Next one. Yes, bitter taste, isn't it? Very stingy taste. We usually used to have a little bit of bitterness in our life, isn't it? Which are they? Yes, medicines. Always the medicines. Most of the medicines are bitter in taste. And wow, here the magic table has brought a bowl of bitter gourd, which is also an example for bitter taste. And the last one, any other taste? Any other taste? Apart from all these tastes, we have one more taste, isn't it? Can you say? Yes, the taste of tomatoes, the taste of meat. Wow, the magic table has brought a piece of chicken here, which is example for the taste of umami. So how many tastes we are perceiving day to day? Yes, 5 major tastes. They are sweet, salt, bitter, sour and umami. One more taste scientists have so far discovered very recently, that is oleogestus. Oleogestus is a taste related to fatty products, just like cheese, then butter, oils, etc. So all the fatty or lipid tastes are considered as oleogestus. So altogether we have different tastes. The major are sweet, salt, bitter, sour, umami and oleogestus. So children, now we can straight away go into the details of our tongue. How we able to identify the taste? Let's check out the taste at a glance, which are the parts or organs involved in experiencing the variety of taste. Mouth consists of a muscular organ called tongue. This tongue contains projections called papillae. The papillae have numerous taste buds which contain specialized cell called taste receptors. These taste receptors are connected with nerves which carry impulses to the brain, and thus with the help of brain we experience the taste. So children, which are the parts that help us to taste delicious dishes? Yes, mouth. Inside the mouth we have a tongue. Inside the tongue there are numerous papillae. Projections are called papillae. These papillae have taste buds which contain the receptors called taste receptors. with the help of nerve and brain, we experience the taste. Let's see how is it possible. As you all know, we taste different types of experiences, isn't it? So they are sweet, salt, sour, bitter, and umami. So these are the major types of taste which have specialized receptors in our tongue. Even though they are labeled in different parts, they are concentrated on this particular region, but they are present in all the parts of our tongue. So why it is labeled like this? Because they have more concentration on these regions, but when we keep the delicious food particles, we can identify the taste. So even if they are concentrated on particular region, they can be identified. The sweetness can be identified in any part of our tongue, but most probably they are concentrated on the tip. So this figure doesn't mean that sweetness can be experienced only at the tip. If we keep a piece of halwa or chocolate in the middle of your tongue, you can also experience sweetness. So the receptors are distributed all over the tongue, but they are more concentrated on these particular areas. Is it clear? Now let's see the different types of taste. As we mentioned earlier, there are a variety of tasters, that is umami, sour, sweet, bitter, salt. The umami is the taste that we have discovered very recently, and it includes the flavor of meat, milk, cheese, mushrooms, etc. And the sour receptors they are capable of receiving the sour taste in our food. For example, the lemon or the citrus fruits, then tamarind, all are having sour taste, which can be easily identified with the help of sour receptors. Then sweetness, of course, it is identified with the help of sweet receptors. Similarly, bitter identified with bitter receptors, which is situated at the back part of our tongue. Then salt, most probably they are situated on the sides of our tongue. So these are the different types of taste and taste receptor. So children, the tongue is the primary organ of taste and situated in the floor of the mouth. Only the front portion we are able to move, the back side is fixed to the floor of our mouth. So here you can see the tongue has different parts. The tip is called apex. This part, tip is usually known as apex. Then a flat portion is there. Then borders are there. And the back side, it is having projections more, which is known as the base of the tongue. It has two parts, oral as well as pharyngeal. Oral means the front portion and the pharyngeal means the back side of our tongue, which is close to the region pharynx. Composed of mass of muscles covered with mucous membrane. So it's a fleshy muscular structure and it is lined by mucous membrane. So always wet in nature, covered by a mucous membrane. The surface is rough, made up of different types of papillae. So papillae are small projections, small bud-like projections seen on the surface of the tongue, which have the particular receptors in it. So tongue is the primary organ of taste. It is situated in the floor of the mouth. It has two parts, oral as well as pharyngeal parts, and it is composed of muscles covered with mucous membrane, and surface is rough, made up of different types of papillae. So here you can see the arrangement of papillae and taste buds in the tongue. So when we have a closer look, we can see that so many projections are there. The particular projection is enlarged in this figure. Here you can see it is known as papillae. Papillae are of different types. Here one papillae is enlarged. In the papillae, you can see on the sides of the papillae have taste buds. Taste buds are a bud-like region. Have you seen the bud of flowers which is going to bloom? How is it look like? Yes, similar to the shape of this taste bud. So here also these buds contain the gustatory cell or the taste cell or the receptor which receive the stimulus. So how is it arranged? The tongue contains thousands of papillae, and these papillae have, when you enlarge you can see these papillae, they have taste buds which are arranged in a particular manner so that the gustatory cells can receive the stimulus. Let's have a closer look to what we have discussed in the previous slide. Here you can see the papillae. So many papillae are there, and the papillae have certain inclusions which contain the taste buds. So this is a single taste bud which contain the gustatory cell. So gustatory cell means the taste receptor. Now let's have a look on the taste bud anatomy. So taste bud is a group of receptors which are arranged in a particular fashion so that they can stimulate when they come in contact with the food particles. So the receptor cells are arranged alternately to form a bundle of structure called taste bud, and they have supporting cells. Then a small pit is there with some hair-like projections called microvilli, so that when we chew the food, what happens? The food mixes with the saliva and they comes in contact with the pore and the hairs. Hairs means microvilli. So that the receptors get stimulated, which is carried by the nerve. So taste afference means the nerve. Now let's move to the physiology of taste. This is a simple flow chart to show the various stages of experiencing taste. First of all, the food dissolves in saliva. So when we chew the food, it gets mixed with saliva, which cause the stimulation of receptors in the taste bud. So chemoreceptors means the receptors which are sensitive to chemicals. Which are the chemicals? They are the substances in the food particles. So stimulation of chemoreceptors generate impulses. These impulses are carried by nerve towards the brain, and it is with the help of brain we experience taste. So brain has special center called gustatory cortex, or the center concerned with taste, which help us to identify and experience the particular taste. So in this way the taste is experienced. Now let's see how we experience the sense of taste. When we eat the food mixes with the saliva. What happens? This saliva comes in contact with the microvilli in the pore, which is small bristle-like bristles you might have seen in toothbrushes, small hairs, that is known as bristle, short hairs. So here also microvilli act as a small hair which keeps in contact with saliva and the cell. As a result, the receptors get stimulated. This stimulation causes generation of impulse which is carried by nerve to the taste center of brain. As a result, we experiences taste. So children, here you can see the location of the taste center. We call it as gustatory cortex of the brain. So this red color region is the gustatory cortex. Similarly, we have a smell region called olfactory cortex. So gustatory cortex is related with the taste center in the brain. So what can we do to ensure clean and healthy tongue? Brush your tongue regularly. So when you brush your teeth, take a little care to your tongue. Why? Because tongue helps us to not only to detect the taste, but they also helps to clean our buccal cavity. What is buccal cavity? The inner part of our mouth. So brush your tongue regularly. For brushing, we can use the tongue scraper. We usually call it as tongue cleaner. But make sure that the tongue cleaner application should be gentle enough. Otherwise, it may cause harm to our delicate papillae and the related cells. So in some toothbrushes, you have seen that on the back side of the bristles there is a flat portion with certain lines in order to clean your, that means to scrape the dead cells and the debris from your tongue. So brush your tongue regularly, once in a day, not twice in a day as we brush. Why? Because too much of cleaning will cause damage to our papillae and the taste buds. Rinse well. Rinsing means washing the mouth with water. So rinse well is very, very important. Drink plenty of water. That is applicable for all the normal functioning of our body. We have to drink adequate amount of water in order to maintain an internal equilibrium of our body in a normal way, so that all the systems can flush out the waste, toxins, the microbes which is get trapped inside the cell. So water is the only solvent which eliminate all sort of waste materials from our cell. So here also drink plenty of water to maintain the health of the tongue in a good condition. Monitor the color of your tongue. A healthy tongue should be pink and covered with small nodules, that is the papillae. Any deviation from your tongue's normal appearance or any pain may be the cause for concern. It may be due to any infection, growth of bacteria which is harmful, or may be due to vitamin deficiency, or it may be due to the bad habits like smoking. So always monitor the color of your tongue. Why spicy is not considered as a taste? Let's see. The spicy taste is actually a combination of hot and pain sensation. So it is not a taste, it's a feeling of hotness or pain which is carried by a normal nerve. The spiciness is a term commonly used to describe how a food tastes. So it is not a particular, technically it is a pain signal sent by nerves that transmit touch and temperature sensation. That's why spiciness is not considered as a taste. Apart from that, it is considered as a sensation elicited by the food particles to our body. So when we eat the chili, pepper, spices, we feel some sort of hotness or some irritation. Sometimes tears will also come, more saliva will be produced, which causes some suffocation to us. How is it possible? With the help of the pain and hotness evoked by the chili or the chemical present in the pepper, chili and those kind of spices. How common cold affects the taste and smell? Common cold temporarily damages our sense of smell, thereby affects the taste too. Flavor is a word used to describe the perception of taste and smell together. So, during common cold, we have a congestion in the nose which causes the blockage of airflow. Excess mucus also hinder dissolvement of odorants which result in less flavor. How can we care our nose? Clean your home regularly in order to avoid accumulation of dust. So, dust cleaning is very important. Avoid smoking, burning plastics which are in turn causes damage to the cells in our nose. Then maintain a daily nasal cleaning routine, say for example bathing, proper bathing by cleaning all the organs and the parts of our body, especially the nose, eyes and all. Then face wash, then saline cleaning, that means cleaning inside the nose. Then keep the humidity in your home at 55%, that is proper ventilation. Here we can think over certain situations. Say for example, when we install an AC, most of our ventilations will be closed or plugged with certain materials like thermocol or cardboard or baseboard like that. So ventilation will not be in a proper way. So when we are not using the air conditioner, what happens is that airflow will be restricted, which causes the development of humidity inside the room. So when the humidity inside the room increases, especially when the room has an attachment of toilet or a bathroom, the water molecules from there get evaporated in the room automatically, which in turn increases the humidity of those regions. If you are not opening the windows properly, especially in the sunny days, the humidity still increases, which causes the development or growth of multiplication of bacteria and other microbes, which in turn result in the damage of the quality of air, thereby damages our nose. So tongue is a sense organ which helps us to detect the taste and enhance the sensation of variety of taste. So now let's move to the next. Oh, what is this? A fly. How I can sense the fly? Yes, with the help of my skin. So we are stepping into the last topic, the last sense organ in this chapter, that is skin. Skin is the largest sense organ in our body, which is acting as a covering for the whole body. And it has so many receptors along with the common nerves. So receptors, as we discussed earlier, it is a modified neuron. Apart from receptors, skin also possesses the normal neuron which can perceive certain type of stimulations. So the receptors are not uniformly distributed all over the skin. You have a good experience of tickling. Am I right? So tickling is affected more in the neck region, inside the palm, inside the sole. Why? Because the receptors are more in those regions. From this we can conclude that the receptors are not uniformly distributed over the skin. So let's see some of the receptors which are present in our skin. Now let's see the receptors in the skin. Skin is the largest sense organ. It contains a variety of nerve endings. This rich innervation helps us to sense our environment and react accordingly. And these receptors are not uniformly distributed in our body. That's why we have a tickling effect when we touch the sole of our foot, especially the delicate part, inside the palm, near the neck region, where the receptors are more in number. So we call it as cutaneous sensation. Cutaneous means skin related. So heat, cold, all the sort of temperatures, then pressure, touch, all are affected with the help of special receptors distributed in the skin. So this is a cross section of skin showing various receptors: cold, then pain receptor, light touch receptors, then strong pressure points. All those are embedded inside the skin. So let's see the various receptors in our skin. Touch, special receptors for cold, temperature, pressure and pain. So here also you can see the distribution of various receptors: heat receptors, pain receptors, touch receptors, pressure receptors, cold receptors. And the pain is elicited with the help of a normal nerve. There is no specialized receptor. There is a normal receptor. That means normal neuron. The others, for receiving the heat, touch, pressure and cold, we have specialized receptors. And the intensity of pressure, hotness, coldness may vary. So that slight variation can also be detected by specialized receptors in our skin. How can we care our skin? Avoid strong soap and detergent. The strong chemicals in the soap as well as in detergent may cause the damage of our receptors and skin. Limit the bath time. So too much lengthy bath time or too much short bath time also damages our skin. Very short bath or quick bath will cause the deposition of the waste in our skin itself. Whereas the long bath, hours of bath will also ruin the property of the skin. How? Because you have an experience when you play in water for a long time, you have seen the wrinkles on the tip of fingers. How it has happened? Yes, the water from your body is absorbed by the solution which we are playing. When we bathe in water, what happens? The water from our body will be absorbed by the minerals in the water in which we are bathing. The water is not a normal H2O, it contains lot of minerals. When we play in sea water, in beaches and all, you can see the wrinkles are coming very fast. If you are washing the clothes, again the wrinkles are coming very fast. How is it possible? Why? Because the chemicals present in the detergent will absorb the water molecules from your body through the skin, which causes the folding of skin, wrinkles of the skin. Similarly, when you playing in beaches, the salty water which will absorb the excess water from your body. So limit bath time is very important. Shave carefully by using gel, cream or lotion. So after shaving you have to use antiseptic lotions in order to protect our skin from the attack of microbial infections. Pat dry. After bathing we usually dry our skin using a towel. So don't scrub it over your skin, which causes scratches and the sensitive receptors may damage. So only pat dry, that means gently patting, that means absorbing the water from the body, that is from the skin, with the help of a dry towel. For that the towel must be very clean and neat. If it having some fungal growth, it may cause some skin diseases. So regular basis you have to change your towel, wash it properly, and it should be dry in direct sunlight. Very important. Otherwise black spots will appear on the towel, bath towel, which indicates the growth of fungus. Later they will cause the development of certain disease like dandruff, skin diseases, etc. Then moisture, dry skin. Some people have, by birth they have very dry skin. Some are having oily skin. Some will have normal skin. So based on the type or texture or tone of the skin, we have to do proper caring. Load up your diet with vitamin E and antioxidants. Very important. Not only the external care, we should also give internal care by consuming vitamin E rich food and antioxidants. So as I mentioned earlier, the food which is rich in vitamins, minerals, leafy vegetables, bunch of fruits and plenty of water. Use quality cosmetics and remove it before going to bed. Very important. All those cosmetics are based on chemicals. So students, today we have so far discussed about the nose, the tongue and the skin. Let me conclude here. Thank you.